What happens when humans begin combining biology with technology?
It is the power to recode life itself.
We will see human organ farms, governments using artificial wombs to rebuild populations, robots with biological parts. There will be genetically altered humans who are able to heal people through touch, and so much more. This is the world of biotechnology. And what is going on underground in the labs of biohackers hidden from regulations? And if human bodies are bioengineered, would we evolve into a new species of life altogether, becoming less human and more alien? Humanity will no longer be observers of nature, but the masters of it. This is the next phase in humanity's evolution, and it begins with bioprinting. Bioprinting is 3D or even 4D printing, but instead of plastic or metal, it uses living cells called bioinks. These cells are printed layer by layer and can grow and connect with each other, creating biological structures. With bioprinting, we're not just creating objects, we're breathing life into them. Bioprinting is the alchemist's dream come to life. Some basic level uses include bioprinted eyeball corneas, bioprinted hair follicles for hair loss, personal cosmetic testing, and combat wound healing. And traveling further into the future, more advanced bioprinting will achieve 3D printed coral reefs that provide habitats for marine life, helping to restore damaged ecosystems. Or small-scale robotic space stations that are bioprinting factories, since printing with liquids is more effective when done in a microgravity environment. When it comes to the human body, bioprinted organs are manufactured in organ farms to overcome the challenges of donation shortages. Or a patient's own cells are used to create miniaturized organs or organoids that are used to test medical responses before actual administration. And bioprinted prosthetic limbs are designed to fit perfectly to the individual, using living tissue to improve integration with the host's body. Experiments are carried out in the field of cybernetics, where electronics are implanted into bioprinted pieces, creating cybernetic organs that are more advanced than natural ones, such as bioprinted lungs that are implanted with sensors and nanofilters that remove toxins from the air before it enters the bloodstream, or replacement bionic eyeballs that have built-in zoom or infrared vision.
General, I want to turn to the China threat. You were really among the first people to come on this program and raise the red flag about China. You told us that they were building a very strong military. We know that they've got the largest Navy in the world. Well, the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, joined me on Sunday Morning Futures this weekend to talk about the intelligence that shows the Chinese Communist Party and what it's doing. Here's John Ratcliffe.
It's called gene editing. It's altering DNA, and it's one of the things that our intelligence shows that China is doing. They've got the PRC, the People's Republic of China, has 2 million strong in its military, and it's trying to make them stronger through gene editing. And that's just one of the ways that China is trying to essentially dominate the planet and set the rules in the world order. And why it's so important and people need to understand is this is an authoritarian regime. It doesn't care about people's individual rights. We've seen what they've done to the Uyghurs. We've seen what they've done in Hong Kong. It's about putting the state first, and that is the exact opposite of what has always made America great.
What's your reaction? We've talked about what they're doing in their use of artificial intelligence in the military, but to actually do this gene editing and have this program to test members of the PLO, 2 million communists, to try to make them better and more equipped to handle extreme weather, more equipped to handle chemical attacks. Pretty extraordinary, the lengths that they're going, General.
Yeah, it's not surprising. You know, as Director Ratcliffe said, this is an authoritarian, it's a repressive regime that, as a premium, is constantly in control of its people. And the fact that they're trying to use gene editing tools to change the nature of human beings is not surprising, because this is who they really are. And we had that similar experience, did we not? With Nazism and that authoritarian regime trying to conduct human experiments to do the very same thing It's really to advance the Chinese Communist Party, and the state is what this is all about. And the fact that they would take human beings and put them through this is quite something else. And the ethical questions that surround that are certainly serious. It's one thing to use techniques like that to control disease. It's another thing when you're altering human beings. That is clearly something that the United States and like-minded countries, democracies, would never take on.
I mean, is China readying to go to war with the United States? And meanwhile, you've got the financial services companies all in on China. Goldman Sachs going to acquire 100% of its securities firm there.
What China wants to do, Maria, is dominate and control the Asia-Pacific region, which they have made some real progress at the expense of the United States. They are the most rapid-growing military in the world. They have a very strong economy. They're in a technology race to control the advanced technologies of the world. They want to dominate and control the world and change the international order, but they want to do it without having to fight a war. And they want to avoid that war, but they will use their military to bully, to intimidate, and if necessary, go to conflict if necessary. But they are, given the success they have had and the progress they've made avoiding conflict, that's really where they are.
All right, General, we're going to leave it there, but I did want to ask you real quick, do you think that the U.S. should get back into the Iran nuclear deal? That's what Jake Sullivan said Joe Biden would do.
I don't think we should get back into the nuclear deal as it was previously constructed, because we know it's flawed. I think they have unbelievable leverage from the Trump administration in terms of the sanctions, the progress made with the Arabs and the Israelis to leverage the Iranians and get a better deal. They have that opportunity before them. Don't just knee-jerk and remove the sanctions. Use some leverage against them. I think the Iranians would have come forward and negotiated with President Trump if he was reelected, because they're in a very desperate situation. We have leverage now that we did not have in 2014 and 2015.
All right, General, we'll be watching. Thanks so much. Good to see you this morning, sir.
Well, Australian scientists have developed a world-leading tool able to create super plants and potentially eliminate hundreds of human diseases. It's a new way of editing all types of genes more accurately and safely than ever.
Countless hours of theorising, testing and tinkering led to a momentous eureka moment.
It was like the most exciting moment of my life. I was jumping up and down my living room. It was insane.
The University of Sydney scientists created this, seqRNA, a tiny programmable strand of molecules which can be used to change DNA.
It opens the option for us to precisely manipulate the genome as we want.
It's considered simpler, safer and more effective than CRISPR, the gene editing tech which won a Nobel Prize in 2020 and revolutionised biotechnology. The potential applications for the Australian-made tool are near endless, from boosting yields from crops to fixing mutations in animals and eliminating some of the more than 6,000 genetic diseases in humans.
This is game-changing stuff. There's no doubt this is a major discovery. This goes beyond, all of us.
While some analysts have raised ethical concerns around editing genes and designer babies, the tech's triumphs continue. UK scientists in March used gene editing to destroy HIV from cells. The new, simpler Australian-made tool could allow more researchers to do similar work.
And it could lead to yet more breakthroughs and help Australia become a world leader in life-changing technologies.
I think this is a great opportunity now for Australia, for all the gene editing teams out here to jump on this. Australia can be a big player in the gene editing field.
A field where the very building blocks of life are altered and lives are transformed. Brent O'Halloran, Sky News.
Now, the age of gene therapy is fast approaching. Doctors first started trying to heal genetic disorders back in 1990. 3.5 decades later, they can now chalk up success stories like KJ Muldoon, a baby boy born with a rare, life-threatening metabolic disorder caused by a faulty gene. Cutting-edge therapy targeting the defect appears to have dramatically helped the little patient, and doctors are hopeful the results will last. Hundreds of millions of people around the world suffer from genetic disorders that might soon be fixable. Here's how it works.
The DNA in the human genome is made up of billions of what are called nucleotides. Your body uses specific sequences of them, called genes, to build the many different proteins crucial to life. If a gene is faulty, it presents the wrong instructions, and the protein made from it can be defective, and that can cause a genetic disorder. To heal such diseases, you therefore have to replace or repair faulty genes.
Rare genetic diseases collectively affect millions of patients worldwide. So these are they don't always have the same disease, but they all have like a genetic source of these diseases that can potentially be treated with gene therapy or gene editing.
Altering a patient's DNA is no simple task. To treat genetic disorders, tailored viruses are often used. They're able to smuggle a correct version of the faulty gene into cells. Once inside the cells, molecular editing tools insert this correct code, replacing the patient's faulty DNA.
You can think of gene editing or gene therapy treatments like a microsurgery for your DNA. So even small changes in DNA can lead to huge effects. I think you can think about it analogous to language. So if you think about a sentence and you change like a single letter in that sentence, it can substantially change the meaning. And the same is true, for protein and DNA sequences.
For many gene therapy treatments, a patient's cells are removed and their DNA is edited outside the body, or ex vivo. The repaired cells are then returned to it. However, the gene editing components can also be injected directly into the patient, a process called in vivo gene therapy. Both have their own advantages.